Hello everyone, this is Dino Chris of Prehistoric Facts, and this is a Q&A episode, so let's actually get started, shall we? So, Luke Zilla, your first question, is it true that dire wolves weren't actually real wolves? That is correct, because, see, there was a paper that was published, I think like a couple years ago, and it was saying is that dire wolves, based on DNA sequencing, suggests is that these animals were not related to wolves at all. They were part of an ancient group of canines, or canids. They were part of an ancient group of canids. They probably had more like a reddish orange type of colored fur, and so they were part of an ancient group of canids. And so they're not really wolves. And so for many, many years, we have been we've been taught as that dire wolves were very similar to wolves. They were almost like gray wolves, but larger. Looked like they were gray wolves on steroids. But now they're looking more and more like almost similar to dingoes. Almost similar to dingoes, but on steroids. But these are part of an ancient group of canids, and those ancient group of canids don't exist anymore because of the fact that dire wolves were the last lineage of that. And so, based on DNA sequencing, is that dire wolves were not closely related to gray wolves at all. They were not part of the wolf family. They were part of an ancient group of canids. And so, it is true. So, good question there, Luke. And then your last question. What is your opinion on Deviliho from the game Monster Hunter? I think it looks cool, but its biology does not really make a whole lot of sense. I've seen pictures of this. I don't play the game, so I've seen pictures of this. It does look weird. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. It just looks really, really weird. All right, Nicholas. Your first question. Is the debate about Torosaurus and Triceratops are one or two separate species still going? Well, it's still a debate, but I think the debate is already starting to rest, is because of the fact is this. Because see, remember, Torosaurus and Triceratops debate is about is Torosaurus in a more adult version of Triceratops? That was a premise that was actually run by Jack Horner and a few other paleontologists. But many other paleontologists, especially ceratopsian specialists, would definitely say that is not true. Because first and foremost, Torosaurus and Triceratops are totally different from one another, even though they're part of the same family group of ceratopsians called the Chasmosaurians. And so what it was suggesting is that because Triceratops' skull is still somewhat not totally fused, what we consider as an adult, all of a sudden started getting more elongated, the snout getting more elongated, the nose horde shrinking, and all of a sudden there would have been holes on the frill. Well, those types of paleontologists that proposed that idea, that Torosaurus was in another adult Triceratops, they didn't realize that there were juvenile Torosaurus specimens that have been found, but they were not fully described until the mid-2010s. And so those types of juveniles were published. And so Torosaurus and Triceratops are two different species. They're two different species. Other paleontologists would agree with this, because of the fact is that we have juvenile Torosaurus, we have juvenile Triceratops, we know what they look like, and we see the different types of changes that actually do happen for these types of creatures. And so the debate is not going on that much anymore. It is pretty much already starting to be pretty much at the end of that debate of that sort of thing. And so Torosaurus and Triceratops are two separate species. And then your next one, Are Triceratops and Torosaurus the last two ceratopsian dinosaurs in North America before the age of the dinosaurs came to an end? Not necessarily. There is another ceratopsian type of creature that lived in the Hell Creek and Lance Formation. It's called Leptoceratops. Leptoceratops was around during that kind of time. It is part of the ceratopsian family. It's just that it's a smaller, more bipedal type of ceratopsian. It could walk on four legs, and it just runs on two. So Leptoceratops is, you can add Leptoceratops into the ceratopsian lineage that actually was around the Hell Creek and Lance Formation. Your next question. Is it possible for the size of Therizinosaurus to be 40 feet long, like in the documentary Chased by Dinosaurs, if you have seen or heard of it? Because in some books says that its size is 33 feet long, and I was wondering if it is possible for it to get bigger. Well, Chased by Dinosaurs doesn't really say that, like Nigel Marvin doesn't really say that Therizinosaurus can get 40 feet long. Now, I do think in Chased by Dinosaurs, I do think that the Therizinosaurus is a slightly oversized. I think it's slightly oversized a little bit. Now, could it get to 40 feet long? I think it's a possibility. I think it's a possibility that it could. But right now, we just don't have the fossil evidence to prove that it could do that right now. Right now, Therizinosaurus is between 30 and 35 feet in length. And so I think it's possible, but I have seen Chased by Dinosaurs. I think it's a fun show. That's the same thing with Chased by Sea Monsters. You know, that's a fun show. It's just like, you don't take anything too seriously about those shows. You just like enjoy the fun. Just imagine like if you're going back in time with Nigel Marvin and you're just seeing like dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures like right in front of you. You know, that sort of thing. I still enjoy those shows. It's just that it's not quite as like great as like the 1999 series Walking with Dinosaurs, but it's still up there. But I think Walking with Dinosaurs, Ballad of Big Al were actually the best ones. Walking with Beasts, that one's also pretty good. Walking with Monsters was does not have the same like energy that the other two did, but like it's actually still not bad. And then your next question is, Alamosaurus the only titanosaur species in North America, or are there more in North America that lived before Alamosaurus? I am not totally sure if there were other titanosaurs that were found in North America. All I know is Alamosaurus. Alamosaurus is like one of those titanosaurs that was just in North America at the end of the Age of Dinosaurs. Now, I do believe that there might have been a titanosaur that have migrated from Asia to North America. Because remember, North America and Asia were kind of connected for a little bit during the Cretaceous period, because that's why you got like Tyrannosaurs that have gone into Asia, from Asia to North America. There were some ceratopsians that got from Asia to North America, and some hadrosaur species, some ancient hadrosaur type of species that were actually going into Asia from North America. And so, yeah, I do think there is a possibility there is a titanosaur species waiting to be discovered, but it probably might be more like, say, maybe Alaska, maybe Canada, or even the northern parts of North America could actually have like a titanosaur that is like, say, maybe like 90 to 100 million years ago, has actually hit across that land bridge to North America, got into Lorimidia, and just kind of stuck around, but there's no fossil evidence to showcase that. But Alamosaurus, so far right now, is the only titanosaur that is known in North America. All right, Alex. Was it possible that some members of the Stegosauridae family were able to rear on their hind legs to use the four spikes on their tail as a defense weapon against the predators that were hunting them? This is a good question. So could stegosaurids were able to rear on their hind legs and use that tail a little bit better to actually have like a defense against predators? It's a possibility, but I highly doubt it. I probably think that because they had really long hind legs and short front limbs, I'd probably say that they were bipedal for a very short period of time. They probably did not do this for a very long time. They probably only did it, to like maybe conserve some energy a little bit, but also to maybe get to like plant matter that they were actually going to go after, say that was a little bit higher up. But in terms of using their tail a little bit better, I don't think they could, but it's a possibility. It's a possibility, but I don't think they could. Because we do find like injuries on like Allosaurus that we actually see from like the Stegosaurus thagomizers or the tail spikes. They have gone through the bone, especially like on like the vertebrae. So if this was actually done by a stegosaur that was actually standing on its hind legs, I don't think that's possible. I think the Stegosaurus was on all fours and then used that tail to hit that Allosaurus right there in the back, or like near the hip region. Because how would the tail be able to get up towards the vertebrae? I mean, it possibly could, but I think the legs would actually get in the way. The legs would get in the way, and I think could Stegosaurus aim for the legs of Allosaurus and Torvosaurus, Ceratosaurus, and maybe Saurophagonax? There's a possibility that it could do that with rearing up on its hind legs, but I just don't think it's that useful for stegosaurs to do that. I think probably more likely they just stayed on all fours. They just crouched down a little bit and just be in defense mode, use those plates or spikes on their back to actually say, hey, stay away from me. You do not want to come near me. And if a predator got too close, then whack. Use those tail spikes as hey, you got too close. This is what you got. All that sort of thing. But yeah, but I'd say they didn't do it for defense purposes. They just probably did it for more likely feeding purposes and probably mating rituals. All right, Benjamin. Which of these primitive tyrannosaurs is more advanced in terms of power and design, Apalachosaurus or Eleoramus? Well, in terms of what you're talking about is more advanced in terms of power and design. These two Tyrannosaurs are more likely designed for speed. They're more designed for speed. Apalachosaurus is a little bit more stockier than Eleoramus. Eleoramus is way more designed for speed. It's way more designed for speed. Apalachosaurus does have the same type of design for being able to be fast, but how its body design is actually looks, it does look like it does have a little bit more power. I'd say Apalachosaurus has a little bit more strength, whereas Eleoramus has speed, but Eleoramus has probably better senses and also the better brain power. Your next question, why would Acrocanthosaurus have incredibly powerful short arms? Well, there's a few reasons why. One is that those arms were used to grab hold of prey, especially smaller prey. You're talking about say Tyrannosaurus, or otherwise maybe like juvenile sauropods. So say Sauroposeidon, for example. Juvenile Sauroposeidon. Sauroposeidon that were probably say the size of like a modern day horse, or otherwise hippos or rhinos. Those would actually be those arms of Acrocanthosaurus would be very useful to grab hold of that type of prey and being able to use the jaws to do a lot of the work. Now, for larger prey, for say a Sauroposeidon that is say is 2 stories tall, or otherwise weighs 10 times more than Acrocanthosaurus, there's no way you're using those arms, because otherwise, because remember, Acrocanthosaurus has very limited motion with those arms. They have very limited mobility on those arms, so they can only go like say kind of like a very small like angles. Because if you watch like say that Acrocanthosaurus episode on that Monsters Resurrected, they do tell you of like how much of range of motion does Acrocanthosaurus have in those arms, and it's not much. And so, and if like Acrocanthosaurus was trying to grab hold of like the hind limb of like a Sauroposeidon that weighed 10 times as much as it, like there's no way that Acrocanthosaurus is going to hang on for too long, because otherwise that Acrocanthosaurus is going to get dragged. That Acrocanthosaurus is also going to get injured. And so Acrocanthosaurus wants to avoid injury as much as possible, and so the arms don't make any sense to actually use against prey larger than itself. They're mainly gonna be used for grasping hold of prey that is smaller than itself, and so, but also they could be used for mating rituals as well. So like the males probably did use them a little bit, that sort of thing. But yeah, Acrocanthosaurus has very strong arms, and so you look at like Acrocanthosaurus arms compared to Tyrannosaurus Rex, you go like, oh, Tyrannosaurus Rex looks weak compared to Acrocanthosaurus. But in fact, Tyrannosaurus is larger than Acrocanthosaurus. And so that kind of was go like, oh, Tyrannosaurus is doing something very different compared to Acrocanthosaurus. And like, that's the thing right there. And your next question, is Ichthyosaurus the best known of all ichthyosaurs? Probably the most well-studied ichthyosaur. And who would win? Camptosaurus or Tyrannosaurus? This is a good one. These animals are nearly similar in size, and they're kind of somewhat in the same family group. They're part of the Ornithian type of dinosaurs, but one's from the Jurassic, one's from the Cretaceous. Tyrannosaurus has got a much longer tail, though, compared to body size to Camptosaurus. Camptosaurus does not have that many defenses. It probably lived in some like a group in like some herds, but also they use like say other dinosaurs for protection, because we see like fossilized tracks of Camptosaurus with Stegosaurus, and so they use Stegosaurus as like added protection. And whereas Tyrannosaurus, they probably they probably had like say armored dinosaurs with them to actually kind of like to have predators know like, hey, we got our defense right here. But also they use defense in herds. But I probably have to give this to Tyrannosaurus because of the really more powerful tail. The more powerful tail, and I'd probably say that Camptosaurus probably has agility, but I would have to take Tyrannosaurus on this one, because that tail is just really, really wicked. Really long tail. Like, you can't beat a tail like that. And that's all the questions I got for you today. So next week will be a special episode. I'll let you guys know what kind of prehistoric animal I'm going to talk about, so stay tuned for that. And you can still send me questions about dinosaurs and other prehistoric life by emailing me at dinochrist71@gmail.com, or just go to my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you guys should put your questions in the comment section. Please put them in the comment section. Don't put them on Messenger. Messengers for private conversations. So please put your questions in the comment section. And also for on any Facebook post, and also for you YouTubers out there, like the videos, subscribe to the channel according to my analytics. So a lot of you guys are checking out my channel and not subscribed yet, so please feel free to hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button. And how the YouTube algorithm works, the more likely the more likes the video gets, the more likely the video gets spread out to people that are interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. Hit that like button on as many video on this video or it's all the videos. Please feel free to do so. And also share the video, share the channel to anybody that is interested in dinosaurs and other prehistoric life and paleontology and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. And hit that subscribe button, and also hit that notification bell so that we could get weekly notifications of every video that comes out weekly. That's what I do. I do weekly videos every single week. And so 1 video per week. And so that's what I do. And also for you YouTubers out there, feel free to leave your questions in the comment section, because I do read them all. All of you to send me questions via email, Facebook, and YouTube. You guys are awesome. You're giving me some great questions for these Q&A episodes. It means a lot. I love doing these Q&A episodes, so keep up the great work, and also make sure you keep your questions short to the point. You can also follow me on Instagram at down@darkchris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there. You can also follow me on Threads. Same thing, at down@darkchris.pf. I post pretty cool stuff on there as well. Also take care of the people around you. And also for you younger people out there, and make sure to listen, your parents, your teachers, your guardians. It's the best motivation you could have for good education. It's very important to have good education. So with a good education, get a good job in the future. And so, yeah. And stay tuned in the community section on this YouTube channel, because I will be posting some things that are going to be shown on the channel to suggest of like where I have been, possibly in the coming weekend, and also and stay tuned for updates about like my next events that are going to be coming up. And I got two this summer. And I'll actually post those events. Information about those events when there's more information about them. But anyway, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time.